Hi friends, this is JaneDoesKeto on day 3 of our 30-day keto challenge. At this point, you're probably, really out of the sugar phase. You might have some cravings for carbs and sugar and alcohol and processed foods, but just know that this is really the day when you're going to feel energized, you're going to feel better. And I have a few things that might help that. And one of them is to check your ketone level, which means how many ketones you have in your blood. So one of the things I use is this Ketone Strips. Some people use a glucose monitor, but I don't think we need to do that yet. So this Nurse Hattie, I believe, Nurse Hattie's Ketone Strips. I'll show you what it is. You just take a strip out, and I don't know if you can see, there's a little colored tip. So you actually pee on that colored tip, and then that colored tip will change colors after 40 seconds, and I'll show you. These are the colors, and you want to be between the light pink and the dark pink. You don't want to be here. This is no ketones. This is too much. You just want to stay in the pink. And so these are about, $5 or $6 on Amazon. They can be delivered within, I think, 1 day. And it gives you a lot of confidence because you're not always going to lose pounds. You might be losing, as I did, lots of inches and not always pounds. But if you're burning ketones, that means that you're burning your own body fat. You're not burning sugar. So it's a really good thing. And that might help you. The next thing is food prepping. I'm going to do a video this week about how to actually do food prepping, but know that things like celery, cucumbers, even kale, any of the vegetables on the grocery list, those things should be cut up and just put in containers or Ziploc bags, anything, so that you have something. If you're very hungry, usually it's because you have an electrolyte imbalance in your potassium or sodium, but at least you can go to those things. And then if those things aren't available, what I would strongly suggest is usually when you have an electrolyte imbalance and you feel hungry, the fastest way to get out of that is simply to have a cup of water with some organic sea salt in it. Just a pinch of sea salt. That'll get your electrolytes pumped up. You'll immediately feel better. And one of the things that I remember when I started this, and I would suggest to everyone, is to analyze when you feel hungry. Am I hungry? Am I just used to eating at this time? How do I feel? And you can think of this in just seconds. So what I found in the first couple of weeks, and specifically these first 3 days, was, am I hungry, or do I just tend to eat no matter how I feel? And so that's one of the big things we're going to be going through is, how do I feel? Don't eat because, just because you're used to it. So once I kind of thought about that, I thought, I don't think I really need to eat something right now. And I got used to that feeling of not a fullness, but just feeling good. And by day 3, you may have a headache. You may have a little gut feeling, but just know that by the end of today, you'll be feeling really great. So keeping your electrolytes up is a big way to ensure that you don't have those crashes. And usually those crashes are from packaged foods, processed foods, and number 1 is sugar. So sugar is like a Brillo pad in your stomach. It destroys everything in its path. So there really isn't a good sugar. Honey is pretty good for you, but on keto, we don't use honey. So I can't advise that. So the third thing would be just to have some good thoughts about how you're feeling. Know that any feeling that you have, whether it's not 100%, that will change. It's constantly changing. The body's evolving, minute to minute. And I use a multivitamin, and I just happened to do a lot of research, found one. It may work for you. I'm going to show it to you. This is a brand called Easy Melts. So for me, I don't like to take any pills that are big. I tend to choke on them. So I found this brand on Amazon, Easy, Melts, and I really like it because these vitamins are, of course, water soluble, but also, as you can see, it's just a little pill and like a disc, really, and you can chew it or it'll dissolve in your mouth. And the reason I like these vitamins is simply because of that, but also, so this is a multivitamin, and this has 100% of almost everything you need. So I don't take a lot of supplements. From all the research I've done, I don't believe in a lot of them. I do D3, zinc, the multivitamin, and then occasionally other things like biotin or zinc, but vitamin C. But I think if you're eating correctly and you're out in nature and in the sun, you don't need much supplementation. The other thing is that unless it's a pharmaceutical medical grade supplement, which these aren't, as good as these are, they're still not that level. A lot of it just gets, as we all know, peed away. So that may not be your best bet. Your best bet is always with real foods. And I have on the board behind me a little more that we're going to talk about today on day 3 of our 30-day keto challenge. So let's take a look. So day 3, we're testing our ketones. As I said, we can easily pick that up on Amazon, Aunt Hattie's. And then we're going to go to this kind of diagram that I've created. And I think these are very important things to think about. Sleep, water, walk, and breathe. So sleeping, I think when you're on keto, you may notice, especially in the first few weeks, you feel like you're fatigued. And that's because usually you've pumped yourself up by eating a lot of carbs and sugars. I know I did, and I think others have. And when you're not doing that, and you're eating all, kind of fresh fish and chicken and beef, organic, and then the highest quality vegetables, and not a lot else, you are burning your own fat, and so you might get fatigued at the beginning. So sleeping, I would advise 7 to 9 hours at night. The most important time, as I've said before, is between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. That's the time of the full repairing and restoration of your body. So get as much as you can, but then, and I realize this isn't very realistic, but if you do feel very tired, if you can, even if you could just close your eyes in your chair for 15 minutes in the mid-afternoon, if you do feel a little tired, that is a great restorative thing too, and it'll really help you feel better. Walking. So with keto, it is more important, just as it is with all dieting and wellness, to remember something I've said before, which is you can't outrun the fork. So the diet is about 80 to 85%. Exercise is about 15%. But exercise does not mean just getting out in nature and walking. So when I just started walking down the street. And at some point, I would jog a little. I do kind of flat out sprints with walking. even a little running. But probably what's best for everyone is not that pounding on the orthopedic parts of the body. It's simply walking. And you can walk fast. You can just take a stroll. But the key is to be out in nature and to be moving. As I've said before, stretching and walking are key. Then we have breathing. So sleeping, walking, breathing. Breathing is very important. If you're like me, I'm sure I was a sugar addict, and I'm sure I was what's called insulin resistant. So it's not diabetes or hypoglycemia, but it's when your body doesn't know how to filter kind of the sugars and all the processed foods and things. So it may take some people one day to get into ketosis, which is burning ketones, which you find out by using these strips. And again, they're urine strips, as funny as that sounds. But some people, it might take them 5 days. It doesn't matter. None of it matters. Don't judge yourself. You're going to do a great job. We're going to have a live video this weekend where we talk to someone who didn't even try. Granted, it's a man, but he is 50 years old. He didn't really even try. He just simply ate the foods that were recommended, and he lost 30 pounds in about 2.5 to 3 months. And he's kept it off now for about 7 months. So anyone can do this, and it's correct for any age. Keto is really, the healthy keto that I'm talking about is appropriate for anyone. Albeit, I'm not a doctor, so if you have any concerns about your health, please take that up with your professional. So the next thing would be this breathing. When you're stressed or when you are craving something, what is recommended is the 5-5 breathing method. So you take breath in for 5 seconds while you expand your stomach, and then you breathe out for 5 seconds. So you don't even need to hold it. So let's just do a couple right now. So you breathe in for 5 seconds as you expand your gut. Okay, let's do one more. We're going to breathe in for 5 seconds as we expand our gut, and then we will breathe out for 5 seconds. Now, if you can do that for 5 minutes, twice a day, you will feel so much more at ease. You'll feel relaxed. You'll be able to cope with any cravings you think you have. The cravings are essentially gone after 72 hours, but you might still feel like you should be eating the things that you think you like the best. And believe me, I love sugar. I just went through a short period where I brought sugar back into my diet. As I call it, brought the tiger out of the cage. And it has been tough to put him back in the cage because I love sugar. I'm sure I was a sugar addict. But in these just couple of days we've been on together, I feel so much better when I'm not eating sugar than I do when I'm eating it. I only enjoy it for just the minutes I'm eating it, and then I feel terrible. So if that's an indication of others, we are way better off without it. So try to do that 5 in, 5 out breathing for 5 minutes twice a day, and I guarantee you'll feel less anxiety. You'll feel happier and calmer. And the last tip I have today in this video is water. So we all know we should be drinking water. I have a lot of friends from Asia that start the day with lukewarm water and lemon. And throughout my travels there, I've met many people in many different countries in Asia that do the same. And the people I'm talking about they're very successful, they're very calm, And I think there's something to it, and they all do too, my friends. So I think that's something you might want to consider. As I've said before, what I try to do is take 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar with 8 ounces of water that's anywhere from cool to lukewarm. I don't have ice and I don't have it hot. And then I put lemon in it. And the combination seems to just be great. It's great on the gut. It makes you feel energized. So throughout the day, I put a lemon or lime or cucumber in my water, sometimes even a blueberry or 2, and it just makes it taste a lot better. I used to drink, a long time ago, things like Diet Coke, and then I switched to Crystal Light. But anything with chemicals like that is just not as beneficial. There's nothing like water. And if you do, again, start to feel some fatigue or craving, if you have water with a pinch of sea salt in it, you will really reduce your cravings. So sleep, water, walk, any amount of time, and breathing. And I guarantee those things will help you feel better. So think about what I've said today. I know you're doing great. This is day 3 of the 30-day keto challenge. And I'm Jane Mitten from JaneDoesKeto. And I'm very proud of you. I'm proud of myself. We've really done a great job so far. And it's going to be a lot easier from tomorrow on. So let's really stay tough today. We can do it, and I wish you well today, and I will put up a recipe later today, and DM me any questions you have. I've had a lot of DMs the last few days. Appreciate it, and I'm here to help, and I know we're going to get through this, and you're not going to believe how much better you feel at the end of today, let alone in 30 days. So again, Jane Mitten, JaneDoesKeto. Day 3, we're doing great. Let's keep going.